Okay, here we have some expressions that are a mix of variables and numbers, and also just words. And that's just very confusing. So what we're going to do is we're going to rewrite these using just mathematical symbols, and then we're going to simplify them. So first one says the sum of. So the sum of means addition, and whenever you see the sum of, you'll usually see blank and blank. Right? So the two things that are being added are this 3x plus 6 and this negative 2x plus 11. So again, so I'll just write this out as 3x plus 6. I'm going to put this in parentheses, plus negative 2x plus 11. It's always a good idea to wrap these things in parentheses when you bring them together, because you never know when the parentheses might be necessary. Here they're not really, but it's okay. Alright, so now we can combine like terms. I have a 3x and a negative 2x. That just works out to be a single x. Then I have 6 and 11, and that works out to be 17. So in the end, this expression is just x plus 17. Alright, next. The result of subtracting 3x minus 11 from 19x plus 2. So we have 19x plus 2, and we're subtracting from that 3x minus 11. And here the parentheses do matter quite a bit, because when we open this first set up, nothing really changes. It's just 19x plus 2. But when we open up the second set, this negative sign changes the signs of everything on the inside. So positive 3x becomes negative 3x, and negative 11 becomes positive 11. So now we go to simplify. 19x and negative 3x simplifies to 16x, and 2 and 11 simplify to 13. Alright, next we have the product of 5x and 3x plus 6. So this is much like the sum of. Every time you see that phrase, the product of or the sum of, it's always going to be something and something. And these two things are being multiplied together. That's what product is. So we have 5x, and over here we have our 3x plus 6. And again, when we put these in here, it's important that we use the parentheses, because the 5x is being multiplied by this whole expression, 3x plus 6. If we didn't put the parentheses in, it might just look like 5x and 3x were being multiplied together. And the 6 over here is just being added on afterwards. So we'll have to do a distributive property thing here. So 5x times 3x, 5 times 3 is 15, and x times x is x squared. And then 5x times 6, well, 5 times 6 is 30, and then we just add the x on over here. So a couple takeaways here. So in the end, we have 15x squared plus 30x. A couple takeaways here. Anytime you see a phrase like the sum of or the product of, it's always going to be followed up by blank and blank. And then in the case of the sum of, they're being added together. In the case of product, they're being multiplied. So all you have to do is just take whatever you're given, wrap each of those things in parentheses, and if it's sum, put plus between them. If it's product, you're just multiplying them together. And it's important that you do use the parentheses, because not using the parentheses can make it an order of operations problem. And then, of course, when we're taking the parentheses away, here we had to use distributive property. Here, nothing really changed. Here, keep in mind, anytime you see a negative sign out front of a set of parentheses, if you open up the parentheses, everything inside will change signs. Positive becomes negative, negative becomes positive. And that is writing these verbal expressions, or mix of verbal and mathematical expressions, writing them out as just mathematical expressions, and then simplifying them.